Okay.
Okay.
Count down or what?
No,
No,
count
you're
down.
good.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the pod. Yay! As you can see, we're here with our dad. Yay!
Blabbermouth Nation shout out.
Okay, yeah, today we're here with my dad, a very long-awaited guest that we have been planning for a really long time now. Because Father has some lore that is super cool, I would say. You too, sister, right? Like,
I think it's cool. You explained it to me a couple months ago, like all your lore with your music and stuff, and I was like, "Whoa, this needs to be like a freaking movie."
Why am I so nervous? I'm literally nervous. I don't know why.
Don't be nervous.
it's okay. I don't think you've
He has
ever...
Please
stage
help
fright.
I got stage fright.
He's nervous. It's okay.
All those
I'm going to be
years
drinking
of,
my coffee. Please excuse me.
No, you're good. All those years of singing on the stage, but then there's a camera and the.
I know.
And
All
now
of a
you're
sudden there's a
scared.
now I'm scared. Right.
That's
okay.
funny.
It's okay.
That's actually so crazy.
That is crazy.
I wonder if most of our guests are nervous on here.
I think so. I'm nervous.
I know.
Yeah,
I wonder
I'm sure
if-
they've
yeah.
been nervous.
I'm sure, yeah.
All right,
I'm-
shake it off.
It's fine. Don't worry. Don't worry. Only like 2 people are gonna watch anyway. So
Take a chill pill.
Okay.
okay.
I'm ready.
He's ready, guys. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, our dad has some lore that if you have a dad out there, he probably has a lot of lore that you just haven't gotten into, and you should probably ask your dad, like, oh, what was your life like, or like, what's the vibe? Because there's still things that we don't know, I feel, about.
It's just
Yeah.
things come out,
yeah.
as
Things that you like don't remember, but that
Don't-
you just remember in the
yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
like in the moment of what we're doing, and then like, oh, by the way,
Yeah. And
That's crazy.
it just
I
like
know.
pops up in conversation. But yeah.
I had a friend that told me that one of their craziest dad lore was that he accidentally stepped or kicked Nora Jones at a party.
No, are you serious?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
artist Nora
yeah,
Jones?
Nora Jones, because she went to a university in Denton, and her dad went to the university in
Oh
Denton.
wow,
So
that's crazy.
I know it's crazy. He accidentally kicked Nora Jones.
How does that even happen?
I don't know, but that's
so
like crazy dad lore.
Yeah. Like I
That
said.
is crazy. Dad
I was like,
lore.
did you
Yeah.
ever kick Nora Jones in the face?
I don't think I've ever kicked any like famous artists. You know? No.
Yeah, I don't think that happened.
I don't think there's anyone like that
That like famous that you've met?
famous that I've met like that big. You know,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
You've never been like backstage with anyone?
Maybe like a Tejano artist, you know, when that music
yeah,
was, who was pretty famous. But it was just like a brief moment, and by that time they weren't that big. But
Oh, okay.
you know,
I see.
but nobody big.
Okay.
Okay, so clearly we're a very like musical family. In case that hasn't been shown in our podcast, like
All the times that we've sang just randomly.
yeah, sister and I always singing, always talking about like artists or musicals and things like that. Because I guess we're kind of like theater nerd kid type beat. Well, not really me; it's more you. But I'm like a closeted theater kid, whatever. But so obviously we're very musical, right? I think that is all based off of our dad because
100%.
Father, obviously, you've had a lot of musical background.
Oh my
I
gosh.
mean,
I'd have to shout. I'm going to give a lot of shout outs today because I have to. I mean, these are people like my sisters, number one, because they
Yeah.
were like the musicals in the family. Mimi, my oldest sister, she plays piano, she sings, and then Lily, and then Becky. I mean, all around the house when we were kids, it was always music. And then with my brothers, we're like the Brady Bunch because there's 3 boys, we're 3 girls. You know, but with my brothers, it was baseball, football, and then at home it was music all the time. So,
Right.
I mean, it's because of them, really.
What was like something that like your sisters would play that you were like, oh, I like this too, that you kind of
Oh
like
my gosh.
brought you into music? Like,
I
what was like the
mean-
artist that like really kicked it off for you?
It'd be between like John Lennon and Elton John.
right.
The Johns.
Those are big.
The Johns.
The Johns.
The Johns back in the 70s.
Right.
But it wasn't, like it wasn't like the Beatles or anything because I didn't really
wasn't your
appreciate the
time
Beatles.
to-
Yeah, but they were still like popular in a way, but not as much as those 2 guys. And then of course you have the rock stuff like the Eagles that was influential. But it was more those two guys because I mean they were played heavy back then.
for sure.
Back then it was radio guys. I mean
Yeah,
it wasn't.
it was all radio.
Oh yeah.
It was all.
It was like
radio.
Radiohead. It's like on the radio. It's always on the radio and it
It's-
gets stuck in your
yeah.
head.
Right.
It was radio. I mean we had a record player, but you know
Did
they
you
were
guys have
listening
any
to.
records? What records did your sisters have?
I don't remember, but I mean, they had to have been those, like the double fantasy album. I think it was from John Lennon.
Yeah.
John Lennon's Double Fantasy was in there. I mean, but those two for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two for sure.
Who would you say is like the main artist though that like sparked your inspiration for music? Or at least I know you already named a few, but
That really probably Elton John because of that one concert.
Elton John.
What one concert?
There was a concert that he did like on TV back in, it was Central Park. I remember it. I remember it coming on TV and I was like, wow, like I want to do that because my sister already played piano. So like the piano was at the house and
Right.
she got the lessons. I was the last of the kids. There wasn't much money by the time I came around. So there was no piano lessons for me, maybe a few months. But it was him playing the piano and the singing and just the show he put on. It just, that did it for me. That
Right.
captivated me
Yeah.
for sure. And then that struck the interest of, I want to learn piano. I want to learn to sing.
So what was like the first thing that you learned to do? Like, did you first learn how to sing? Did you first learn how to play piano?
I think it was piano. But I mean,
Yeah?
but you got to remember, like, no piano lessons. So it was like I would
just
hear
learned it by ear.
Yeah, by ear, because it was like, okay, what note is it? And I was like trying to figure it out. I had a lot of time on my hands. By
Yeah.
I mean,
I was a pretty lonely kid. Okay, I have two older brothers. They didn't want to hang out with me, so I would spend all the time with myself.
Right.
And I would just try to figure out songs on the piano, by myself until I just figured out chords and.
it's also like the 80s, so like you don't do anything
There's
other.
nothing to do. in
There's
the
nothing. You can't
80s.
be on iPhone.
You can't be
There's
on
not.
TikTok.
It was dirt outside. Play with the dirt. Play with whatever's in the backyard. If there was some boards in the backyard, you'd nail them together. That was what was fun
Nail
for me
them
back
together.
then.
Hello.
That's so funny.
But it was probably piano, and then it was the singing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love that.
But that was right up until I met the guys of the band.
Right.
Yeah, that was right up until. So
That's when like the music really started. Was
That's
when
when
you created your band.
Well, yeah, and the band, and I think I'll shout out to my brothers Orly, Adan, David.
Not his
'Cause
actual brothers.
Now, not my actual brothers, but like they
Brothers
really
as
are
friends.
my brothers because we've known each other since
Right.
fifth grade, guys. It's over 40 years.
Yeah.
And I think it started in fifth grade, and I got to share the story because that was really what made me musical. Because you need an outlet, you want.
Right.
As a growing up kid, you want to, you look for some inspiration. You want to either be a painter or be a whatever. For me, it was music. And I remember Orly, I had him for a class. I think it was English, fifth grade. And he says, man, I know this guy who can play guitar. His brother's a great guitar player. And Adan, who is our drummer, shout out Adan, he was in band. And he was playing drums. And then one day we got together at David's house, the guitar player, shout out David. And David's older brother had a band, and he was an incredible guitar player. I mean, crazy good guitar. And so David already knew how to play guitar. And Adan and Orly were both in band playing drums.
Right.
So it was like, okay, who's going to be the drummer? And David's brother's band, Robbie's band, Jimmy, who I think was playing bass, was like, okay.
Dude, all these names.
I know, by the way, and shout out. But Jimmy was like, no, you guys, because they were like, who's going to play drums? Is it going to be Adan? Is it going to be Orly? And Jimmy was like, Orly, you play bass. Adan, you play drums. And then they just stuck. We just stuck with that.
So it was Adan drums, Orly bass, David guitar, and you were the singer.
And then it was like, well, what's left?
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll sing. But it's not like it was like the first thing. I knew how to play a little bit of piano by then. And then we formed a band.
Dude, that's so
that's
cool.
so
We
cute.
formed a band and
Insert pictures here.
Insert pictures here. and I mean, we were terrible, obviously. We were absolutely terrible. And we had one amplifier.
What was like the first song that you guys
Oh
performed?
my God,
Do you remember or no?
Yeah, it was our 6th grade talent show.
That's so
that
cute.
was so
We had it was a bass amp, and I remember it was so 60s, big amp, and the guitar was plugged into it, the bass was plugged into it.
Oh,
It
like
was
all in one thing.
all in one cabinet. And I remember Orly's bass cable was like 3 feet long, poor guy, and I stepped on it, and in the middle of the song, his bass cuts off.
Oh no!
And so he has to go grab the cable and put it back on and continue the song.
Dude, that's funny.
The song was a song called Rock of Ages by a group called Def Leppard. And it was huge. That was
little
a huge song.
small song,
Yeah, but
small group.
It was a huge song. But,
Super small group, very
Super
niche.
niche.
yeah, very niche. And I was playing drums. I mean, we thought it was terrible. I was so nervous. I mean, I was like, you get up on stage and it's
Right.
like in front of the school, and there's a huge stage. So I mean, literally that big, and we're tiny back then. So and then the whole crowd is there, like the whole school is there, and then just oh my God.
Dude, that's
Anyway,
crazy.
we perform it, and it was like magic because you suddenly become popular.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, wow, the band and the band. And so the band, we began to be like the school band. So even the principal would tell us, hey, guys, why don't you perform at such events? So we would perform at school events, like maybe at a pep rally or something like that he would get us to perform.
That's so cool.
That
know,
is really
and
cool.
Principal Gutierrez, I mean, he's passed already, but he loved us so much. In fact, one time he gave us money out of petty cash from the school.
Oh my
No
day.
way.
I remember we were like,
Dude, W
"What?"
principal.
W principal.
Oh man, he was and then like all the teachers, to some regard,
Yeah, they were all
kinda
like very
our
supportive.
fans and very
Aw,
supportive.
that's so cute.
And then all our friends, I mean, all of them have been very supportive. Hollow Point has grown because it was originally just us 4, and then Eric joined the band. Shout out Eric, shout out Sonny. Eric played guitar, Sonny played guitar, and then I think Raymond at one point in 8th grade played piano. I mean, I taught him piano for one song. He got in the band. He was part of the band. Also, shout out Raymond. Shout out all these guys that have been, and we're still together. That's the
Yeah.
cool thing. Like after 40 years, we could still like, hey, bud, let's just all meet at Sonny's, because we all kind of like meet at Sonny's house. Sonny's house is like, have you seen that Daryl House TV show? Daryl Hall and John Oates.
Well, we know
They
who
have-
they are.
they have a
Daryl's
TV show?
house. Yeah, he has like I don't think he has it anymore.
Daryl
but
Hall and John Oates.
yeah,
I know.
He has like a show on TV.
Oh, I didn't know
And
that.
he invites guests to come and perform with him. And they
Oh, that's
jam
so
at his house.
cool.
I know. So Sonny's house is like that. We always get together. He's got, if you want to play guitar, there's a wall of guitars.
Yeah,
Take your guitar.
I've been in his house.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
his house
cool.
is
If you
crazy.
want a bass, these are all the basses. You want an amp, here are all the amps. So
That's so fun, dude.
that was how I became a singer, but like a terrible singer because I didn't know how to sing.
Right.
So you just scream until your vocal cords give out.
Right,
But
right.
yeah.
When did you guys come up with the name of your band? And say what the name is.
Hollow point is a bullet, a bullet that has got like a little hollow. The point is hollow, and so when it hits something, it explodes. The tip explodes, and I think it was a name, and I could get this wrong. And forgive me, guys, if I get it wrong. But the story is, was it a name that Robbie came up with, David's brother? I think that was the name he had for a band before or something. The name of his band was Black Rose or something like that. Yeah. But I think we got it from Robbie. Robbie was, and mind you, Robbie, David's brother, is virtuoso, gifted, talented, anointed. I mean, this guy can sing. This guy can play guitar. This guy can write music.
That's
Shout
a
out
prodigy,
Robbie.
bro.
He is
a prodigy.
He is prodigy, guys.
Dude, that's crazy.
And then he goes into writing blues music. I mean, I can't explain it. The guy is crazy good. And, you know, probably today he's even better. But yeah, shout out Robbie.
I can't imagine. That's crazy.
Mind you, David, too. Back in 5th grade,
Oh, yeah.
David was playing guitar.
Runs in the family.
He runs in the family.
It literally does.
And I remember seeing him like, oh my God, this guy's good. Like, this kid's good. Is he in 5th grade like all of us?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, he can't be. He's too good.
Yeah.
Bro's like 10 years old playing like
10 years old playing like
That's
leads.
crazy.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It was so much
wish.
fun. And we're still together, which is so cool.
That's so sweet.
Shout out Hollow Point.
Shout out the guys from Hollow Point.
I love that name. I've always
Isn't it
thought that
cool?
was a really
Yeah, I think it's
cool
sick,
name.
yeah.
Very like
Yeah.
very like dad band name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really weird question that I was just thinking about. Have you ever thought about putting a girl in the band? Have you ever like had like a girlfriend that you were like, oh, like she would be really good in the band, but it just didn't like turn out that way or something? Or I don't know if you had any friends that were girls that.
No, I mean, back in high school, junior high, and all that time, there wasn't really. You know what? That's a good question because there was never really like a girl that came out singing that we like. Oh, by the way, this girl can sing. There was no one. I mean,
Not even someone that played instruments.
not even. I mean, not that I remember. I do remember there was other guys in our group circle that wanted to create a band, and we became like a little rival band for a moment. But
That's funny.
Yeah, I know they didn't last. They're still friends, but no, there was never really a girl artist. I mean, we were just the band for like ever. You know.
Wait, so I have a question now. Like at the time, who was your favorite like female artist? Because you named a lot of like male artists and male bands.
There was a girl named Lita Ford, and she was like, she did a duet with Ozzy Osbourne, and she was like this blonde guitar, big hair, and she could sing and she can play guitar like a Joan Jett. You know?
Yeah.
She was good. And maybe her, Lita Ford.
Did you listen to a lot of Heart back then too, or not really?
Not really, because Heart was a girl band. I didn't really come to appreciate Heart until many years later. You know, when I started teaching you the vocals.
And I love Heart. They're so iconic.
Heart.
They're awesome.
Yeah, and that's not easy stuff either. I mean, Ann Wilson is an incredible singer. Probably one of the top rock and roll singers, along with maybe Pat Benatar.
I think her sister was named one of like the best guitarists of all time.
Oh, really?
I forgot what her sister's name was.
Ann
and something Wilson.
And the other one.
Then the other Wilson, and I
the
can't
other
name
Wilson.
her.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry, guys.
She said
I'm
sorry.
so sorry, but she was named like one of the best guitarists, including Julian Baker, who's in Boy Genius, that band that I showed you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was also named.
Which one is it? Nancy Wilson.
Nancy Wilson.
Nancy.
Yeah, she's insane.
She is insane, dude.
Crazy good.
Just that whole intro of what is that real famous intro of with the really heavy guitar?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Which one?
Oh,
is that not Crazy on You?
Yeah, Crazy on You.
That song is so good, dude.
How do you come up with something like that?
No, genuinely, that's
crazy.
insane.
Dude,
How do you
she's
come up with a riff
70.
like
Crazy
that?
boots.
They're
She's
old.
70?
They're old as
Wow.
bones.
They are old as bones.
Anyway, yeah. Now, what's your favorite artist of today, do you think? Like modern day artists. Who do you think
Like the stuff you guys listen to.
Right.
you like this? Do you like,
You know,
I know you like Ariana Grande.
I like Ariana Grande, but I like Chapel Roan.
Yeah.
Right.
But I was thinking about this just now. Like, if I were to pick a band, The Killers, man.
Oh, yes. I love the Killers.
Oh, my gosh. When you guys introduced me to that, I was like,
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
and then they played at the Royal Albert Hall in London. I saw that video. I was like, man, this group has it.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They got a vibe. They got a sound. Their songs are good. They're maybe because that's like rock of today, and it's got this indie thing. I don't know. I mean, but Chapel Roan would be, and then that other one that you introduced me to, the Asian girl that.
Oh, Leve.
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 Oh, my
yeah, she's
Lord.
awesome.
it's a different level of artistry today that is like for us, older crowd, to really get into your music. It's so more advanced, and I think there's so much more creativity, artistry, because now you can entertain. You don't have to have a whole band. You could just be a guitar and a voice,
Yeah.
And the lyrics, the chord progression, the voice, all these incredible.
Yeah.
I think it's very fair to say, though, that obviously we have such great artists today because of think about all the artists that they look at and their music,
their influences.
I mean, people of like your time. Okay, you're not that old, but I mean, like people from like
Only
the 60s.
42.
Yeah,
42.
go by. You're not 42.
You wish.
But you know what I mean? Like they all.
No one knows my age.
We don't need to know.
We don't need to know the
your
age. Okay.
No one cares.
No one cares.
Like every artist now has such great inspiration from the past. Obviously, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think, and also like you can hear it. Like I'll pick out like, oh, that sounds a little bit like.
Yeah.
Exactly, dude. You always do.
Yeah.
That.
I always do
Very
that. I'm
true.
sorry, but they're all influenced somehow
By some other artist from like the
Mazzy
past.
Star.
Yeah, Mazzy Star. That's a good one.
Alanis Morissette or somebody from that back then, or
I think you were saying that like Paramore kind of sounded like Avril Lavigne or something like that. Did you say that?
No,
You said that Paramore sounded like.
they sound like Evanescence.
Oh, yeah.
That's who you said that they sound like.
Yeah.
They sound like Evanescence.
But it's like they were kind of
Same era.
around the same time. I think Evanescence was like maybe a little bit late 90s, no?
Oh my God,
Late
Evanescence
90s,
is
early
crazy.
2000s, but Paramore was like early 2000s.
I love them
yeah,
both.
Evanescence is awesome.
Yeah.
I love Evanescence, maybe
awesome.
more than I like Paramore.
Right.
But like, I need to know more Paramore. But that's the stuff you guys show me is like,
Yeah.
what the?
Very good.
Yeah.
It's
very good.
crazy.
Very
She's
Gouda,
kinda-
Gouda.
Well, just the songwriting and the vocals. My
Yeah.
God.
No, I know. She's insane.
Everybody
She's
is like
insane.
a extreme good vocalist today. It's so hard to find somebody that's, because just the bar is so high now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it really,
is.
Yeah.
I agree. It's crazy. Do you want to go into how you pursued your solo music career?
Oh yeah. So the band fizzled out like right graduating high school. Everybody went their separate ways. Adhan and David started a country thing or a jazz thing with Robbie. Do you remember a little bit of that? And then, oh my God, I'll never forget this. I'm driving back from, I don't know what I was doing in Mexico on the Reynosa side. I'm driving back and I hear on Spanish radio Luis Miguel. And, Luis Miguel is the biggest singer Latin America has because his vocal ability is so incredible. And I was like, who is this? And he was singing La Incondicional, which is his biggest ballad. And he's hitting these tenor notes. And I'm like, who? And then I remember it's Luis Miguel. And I'm like, I remember him as a kid. And he sounded like a dying cat, when he would sing. Because he had a really high-pitched voice. And I'm like, it can't be. I went and I bought the cassette and I said, man, I want to sing like this guy. I want to sing like this guy. And I started learning how to sing. I bought a cassette of a very famous teacher, vocal teacher. Won't mention his name, but he taught, Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, big names, the guy, Paul Stanley from Kiss, all these big artists. And I started learning his technique, and I realized that was the technique Luis Miguel was using. And I just said, okay, if I can just hit the note, if I can just sound like him, if I can just do that. And I would karaoke on Saturdays at a place called Club X. They had a little canta bar. I think that was what it's called, canta bar. And I'm singing all of Luis Miguel's stuff, and one guy came up to me and he says, "Hey, my friend wants you to sing at his wife's birthday." And I was like, "Well, I mean, I don't do that." And he goes, "Well, no, please, we insist."
Oh my God.
And I was like, "Well," he goes, "What do you charge?" And I said, "Well, I don't know, such money." He goes, "Okay, we got you for 3 hours." And so
Oh my God.
I didn't have any equipment or anything, and I think I borrowed the equipment, and I sang for 3 hours of Luis Miguel stuff.
Oh my days. Did they like it?
Hello.
I loved it. I loved the money.
No, did they like it?
Oh, they loved it. Yeah,
Oh,
they kept hiring me after that.
Oh, wow.
You've
And
sang
then-
at like other weddings and stuff.
And then
too,
I would
right?
do weddings. I became like the wedding singer, you know? It seriously became like the
You
wedding
became
singer.
Adam Sandler.
But it literally, and so it was weddings and quinceañeras, and then just singing Luis Miguel, singing. And then at the time, I was traveling to Matamoros, Mexico, because I was working for a company selling in Matamoros, and I would stay there. And me and a friend of mine, shout out Mel, we would go to canta bars in Matamoros. And this young kid comes up to me. And he says, man, I would love for you to sing. I write music, and I would love for you to come into a studio and just sing a song that I wrote. Would you be so kind? Would you be so kind? And I said, yeah, man, why not? For fun. So
That's crazy.
and shout out Carlos Morales. I went, and he had written this song, and it sounded very much like More Than Words. In fact, the same kind of style,
From
riff and all
Extreme?
that, from Extreme. And okay, so we record it, whatever. And he comes back and he says, let's put it on the radio. He goes, I got some people, we can put it on the radio. I was like, yeah, sure, let's go. So we get on the radio, they hear it, they're like, wow, we love it, we'll put it on. And people started requesting it. People would call in and request it. People would call in and request it. And then he goes, let's go to another radio station. So we went.
This is all in Mexico?
This is all in Matamoros, Mexico, right across from Brownsville. And then so we go to another radio station. We put it on there. People started requesting it. So he goes, let's take this to Reynosa, the other side of, the border. And we do the same thing. And so we've got the song playing on 4 radio stations. And then he gets me a spot on TV. I mean, Carlos is, he moves a lot. He's very active. And I ended up doing the song on TV for Televisa in Matamoros. So Televisa is like a big broadcasting video thing in Mexico. And it broadcasted all over the valley, And we did another song. And he wrote another song. And shout out my best friend Mario, who is an incredible guitar player. He played guitar on all the songs, and it took off. And then it was like, well, what's your name going to be? And I was, well, just Jorge Omar,
Yeah.
first and middle name. And I just became sort of semi-popular there in that area. And so then I got hired to sing for Miss Rio Grande Valley, which was the talent show for that. And shout out Albert and who was the producer of that show.
Pageant.
The beauty pageant,
Yes.
right. So I did that for a couple of years. And then Univision hired me to do their Christmas party. And then I just became a singer, singer. And people would hire me to... I got flown into Mexico City, did a party in Mexico City singing Luis Miguel. Then they flew me to Guadalajara, did that for a wedding, and it got out of hand almost. And I was gigging or playing every weekend, doing 2 to 3 shows, so to speak, just karaoke. That's what it was.
Crazy.
I know. I was a karaoke wedding singer, blah, 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 blah. And then what happens after that? So then get married with your mom.
Right.
And then people were pointing me like, you got to get out of here. You got to go do something. Go to Miami, go to Mexico City, launch yourself, just give it a shot. And
mind you, our dad lived in a very small town in Texas.
Extremely small
So that's
town.
why people were telling him, you need to go to a bigger city.
Yeah.
At what point did somebody approach you? Because you said that somebody approached you to get signed, right? When was that at?
Yeah, that was in Miami. So
So you decided to move to Miami.
So long story short, moved to Miami, and then so it's like get your name out, So we moved 2001 January 1st.
Oh, wow.
I mean, Yeah,
literally January.
Literally January. We took off. January 6th, a friend of mine, a mutual friend of ours who was living in Miami Beach, worked for a record company. Watch this. He calls me and he says, you got to get down to Miami Beach because Emilio Estefan is the biggest producer of Latin artists. He makes everybody, famous. He's filming a music video for Miami Sound Machine. And so he had a group called Miami Sound Machine with his wife, Gloria Estefan, but he had created a new Miami Sound Machine with it looked like a Destiny's Child's type of thing, young girls singing Latinas. And so if you want a chance to meet him, get down in Miami Beach. So we raced down there. I had a demo CD with me. And so I'm there and I'm looking at him there he is. And a bunch of security guards, obviously. And they said, hey, who wants to be part of the video? We're going to do a little casting call here. So, when I signal whoever wants to be part of the video as a crowd, can usher in. So I say, hey, man, can I give this little demo thing to Emilio? And he's like, nope, can't let you do that. I was like, come on, man, I won't take up much of his time. I'm just going to give it to him, present myself. Yeah. And he's like, can't let you do that.
Wait, was that a security guard?
It was a security guard.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he saw me a little bit down, I think, and he goes, okay, I'll give you just a few seconds, man, but I'm gonna approach you the minute you get up to him. So I'm gonna give you some time just to give him. So anyway, I race up to him and I said, Emilio, my name's Jorge Oman. Here's my demo. Please listen to it. I come all the way from South Texas. And he goes, oh, yeah, sure, absolutely. And he puts it in his pocket. And then the security guard comes and ushers me away. So I tell my friend this, and he says, George, there's people that have been here 20, 30 years, never had an opportunity like that. You're so lucky. And I'm like, well, let's see what comes out of it, So in that time, there was another guy named Quique Santander who was another songwriter, writing songs for Cristian Castro, Alejandro Fernandez, all these big artists. I met him too in South Beach on Lincoln Road. So we're walking, your mom and I, and I see him, and he's with a bunch of other artists there, and I give him my demo. Nice. So that's another big guy. And then I get on Don Francisco, which is a big TV show.
Yes.
I sing on that thing, and I win that show. I win.
I remember seeing that show growing up and not knowing that you were on it. Because they would play it, or mom would play it, or someone, or my grandma's or someone would play it on Univision, right? Is it on Univision? With that guy, and he's
Don
in that full black
thing.
Very iconic show from back then. I don't know.
Well, yeah,
people from Miami or all the other Hispanics will know which show we're talking about.
It's televised all over the country.
Yeah.
And so I got on that. I won that a couple of times.
A couple
of times.
What do you mean you won a couple times?
Yeah, there was the El Chacal one. And then there was another singing contest. And then I lost the third one, the third contest. But then I went on a radio show. So Javier Romero, who comes out and, has the semi-host of that show, he had a radio show in Miami called Amor 107.5. It was a real popular radio station, the biggest in Miami. And they had a singing contest on Saturdays. And right in that 2 or 3 months into, no, it was the following year, actually, 2002, February-ish, you would call in and you would sing against a person that had already won previously. So, I had a hard time calling in. I finally got in and I beat the guy. So they said, okay, so since you won, now you got to come back next week to the station. And I go into the station the following week, and they're like, hey, by the way, the guy you beat was about to win his last one to finally win a vacation or
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you win the vacation or something?
Yeah, and so it was a 14 weeks. You had to win for 14 weeks. Against people that would call in.
Dude, I would feel awful. I'm not going to lie.
I felt awful when he said you beat him. That was his last week. and you beat him. And I was like, oh my God, I felt so bad. Anyway, so
Dude, I would feel bad.
no, I felt bad. I really did. I was like, oh my gosh, why? I could have just waited the next week.
Yeah.
But so I win that one, and then I win the second, the third, fourth. I win them all. On the last week, that guy calls in.
No.
And I think it was premeditated. They did it. I think, I mean, it was all, oh, hello. Remember this guy? George had taken him down, and now he's back on George's last week.
Did he win?
He didn't win. I won. I beat him.
Again?
I beat him. And so I won a vacation. Your mom and I went to Santo Domingo.
Oh,
we went to Punta Cana for free.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I won the whole show.
So nice.
But in the middle of all that show, the announcer would say, hey, George is looking for a manager.
Yeah.
George is looking for a producer. He wants to get into the music industry. I made the mistake of giving my phone number out on the radio.
Oh.
Because I was getting calls from weirdos, crazy people, and some producers and some people that wanted to manage me.
Was email not a thing back then?
Yeah, it was.
Girl, why didn't you give out your email?
I think I did give out my email too, but I did both. Anyway, I got calls, and there was one producer guy. So he comes up to me and he says, look, man, we can do this, we can do that, but I want you to get into a band. So I started singing with a salsa merengue band on South Beach.
Oh.
And I was sort of the guy in the back, with the background singer, because it was a huge band.
Oh, I see.
And I don't know anything about salsa merengue. I'm a Mexican guy in Miami. I don't know anything about that kind of music. Mm-hmm. So they had me playing instruments that I've never played before and singing background vocals. And then the manager finally said, look, I want to do something special. I want to put you in some kind of music genre. I'm also promoting a DJ guy that's coming from Germany. We're going to go to Billboard Latin Music Awards, the pre-show. And excuse me. So he invites me to the pre-show, and that's where I think that dream ended for me, because in that Latin Billboard pre-show, there was so much stuff that was scary. Like, there was drugs. Mm-hmm. You could see just a lot of things going on that I thought, what am I doing? Mm-hmm. Do I really want to do this? I mean, I'm going to have a family. Your mom was pregnant of you, and I thought, there was something in me that this is not going to end well. It was just that industry is so dark, and you really almost have to be single, to get into that and just do it without a family, because with the family it's so difficult, and that scared me. And he started saying things like, hey, let's do this, and I'm like, nah, man, I'm not going to touch drugs. I'm not going to do all that kind of stuff. Done with all that. And then I just got out of the band, and I remember telling your mom, like, I think it's over.
Aww.
The
pipe dream.
The pipe dream is over. I'm done with this. I tried it. Everybody's got my demo. I gave it a shot. I've won everything. I've done everything.
Yeah, there's like nothing much more else to do.
Nothing much more to do. And I love singing. And then, of course, it all kind of... I was sad, obviously, because that didn't happen. I was happy, though, that I kind of avoided all that tragic stuff.
Yeah, you could have dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
You really could have.
I think you dodged a big bullet.
I think I did, but...
Our life would have been obviously way different if you had continued to go down that road. Like...
I don't think
it was like you dodged a bullet, like the hollow point.
The hollow point bullet I dodged.
You dodged the hollow point.
It all just turns around. How ironic, right?
So silly.
Full circle moment.
But then I think it all changed to the point where, we got into the church. We had always been searching for a church because we were going to have a family. And I remember your mom and I thinking like, okay, we're going to raise our two girls, and we got to teach them church. So we got into a church, and then when they heard me sing they had like a talent show at the end of the year. Not a talent show, it was like an event at the church, and so everybody, they had different countries that were going to perform different things.
Oh, I think I remember.
Oh, wait.
that.
Yeah.
I think
Was that the one where we had like the Mexican booth?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that wasn't it.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was.
That was church
like-
number 2. Church number 1 was like, they would have an end of the year festival.
Oh, this was church number 1.
Church number 1.
Ooh, this church was not good.
And so
This church was not
they said,
good.
okay, what is the Mexicans going to do? So there wasn't any Mexicans in the church, but we got a
Right.
group together. So we hired a mariachi band, and then I sang. And they said, oh, he sings. Let's put him in the music ministry. So I was in the music ministry there. And then church number 2
Also in
was
the music ministry?
Yeah. Church number 2 led the music ministry there. Shout out to Leo and Alejandra, my blessed brothers. That was the finest, most fulfilling, most purposeful. I can't explain. I kind of want to get goosebumps now, because when I started singing for the music ministry, I got it. Mm-hmm. That's what filled me, praising God, thinking, wow, it was all kind of like for him. It was all, there was not going to be a future in that. There might be a future in this, but at the moment it fulfilled me, because I wanted to sing. I wanted to play piano. I wanted to continue doing what I love. And it was in that music ministry. I can't explain it, girls. It was like supernatural.
Yeah.
And people would come and say, what is going on? This sounds, the Holy Spirit moves. Everyone is in unison. You can feel everyone sort of in this spiritual state of giving God glory. And when you can transmit that to the church, the people get into the Spirit, and it was just something supernatural. I don't know. And so I thought, this is all I want to do now.
Yeah.
This is all I want to do now. This brings me joy. But I still get together with the guys. I mean, we did 2011. We did a benefit little event.
Oh yeah,
for David's
I remember
nephew.
That question mark.
Yeah, David's nephew.
I think so, because I performed at that. Did
You
I
did
not?
perform at that.
I was like, wait, I think I did.
I don't.
Yeah.
Think, I wasn't conscious yet. I don't remember that.
No, I mean,
it was
you
like
were, you
it was
were
like
young.
half outside, half indoors. It was a stage.
Yeah, and so we did that, and then
I remember that. There's a lot of people there.
We got to get all
There's
the
a lot
crowd,
of people there.
and then we came out on radio and stuff that was promoted on the radio.
That's pretty cool.
And then you did another reunion or something.
And then we did
years later.
And then we did our 30th year reunion, and we got the band together and we jammed. How crazy is that? And I was just talking to Orly a while ago, and we're like, man, it's so weird that after 40 years, we just can still get together and jam together.
Are you guys gonna be like 90 and decrepit and still like playing? Or?
As long as
As long as
I
like,
won't be
your
able to
limbs still
sing
work.
this stuff anymore. We'd have to tune down like two notes,
Right.
I can't sing
tune it
this.
down all.
Oh my gosh! But they can still play. I mean,
That's
Adan,
insane. Yeah.
Of course they can still play. That's like
They
muscle
they
memory.
also have
Yeah.
like their side stuff that they do now, right?
gig. They gig
do
often.
gig?
They do gig often, and I give it to them because they got their chops, man. Orly's incredible at bass. Adan's like an incredible drummer. David is, wow. I mean, they're all incredibly. I'm the one probably that lacks because I don't do it as often as they do.
I see.
But they gig quite often, I think.
Oh shoot, there.
They got their stuff together.
That's awesome.
I'm the one having to pick up the slack.
The other thing that I was going to talk to you or ask about was what was like your first concert, or what were like the different artists that you saw growing up that you saw live? What was your first? Who was your first concert?
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember?
I don't. I want to think it was like Quiet Riot or something.
I don't know
or-
what that is.
Yeah.
You saw a lot of like heavier bands, right?
It was, because 80s it was heavy metal rock. I mean,
Yeah,
it
that
was
was what
Quiet
was in.
Riot, Def Leppard, Ozzy Osbourne.
the-
But you didn't see
concerts.
those people, did you? Did you see Ozzy?
I didn't see Ozzy. No. I saw Striper. Striper was that Christian rock band. They were insane. That guy has an incredible voice.
I bet
And
the
it was in
concerts
a,
were cool, right?
they were, but it was a small venue. I think it was called the Pavilion. And I mean, it wasn't, there wasn't any seating. It was just like a hall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Like
people
on
would
grass?
stand, no, like, it was just like a gymnasium type of hall.
Oh, weird.
So it was like you could only fit like 2,000 people in there. But all the groups back then, I mean, although they were trying to, they were growing in popularity, they would have to do small venues too,
Yeah.
But
What was that band that you said that you saw before they were famous on 6th Street in Austin?
yeah.
How did that? I remember you told me that, and I keep forgetting the name of the band, but it was like very popular band or group.
Yeah. So we go to Austin.
When was this?
This was in college. This was college time. And me and I won't name, but we went to the back room, I think it was called.
Yeah, which
back
I
rooms.
think doesn't exist anymore because we looked it up when we went to Austin.
The back room or something.
Back.
And we go to this concert, and because we had nothing to do, and headlining was Marilyn Manson. Do you remember a group called
Crazy.
Marilyn Manson?
Yes.
Okay. He was
I
a
was
nobody
there.
back then. He was like nobody back then. But we're standing there, and it's just it's like, we call them skinheads. They're just a bunch of
Yeah, like punk people.
and it's all leather spikes and moshing around.
Right.
People.
Moshing.
Yeah, dude. And so we're like, what do we get ourselves into here?
Yeah.
And we're just like back up against the wall, and Marilyn Manson comes on. I was like, who is this guy? Because his music
dude?
was it's a dude.
Marilyn
I don't
Manson's a
know.
guy. Oh my goodness,
he,
sister.
he was.
I'm sorry.
No, this guy, and he.
Girl, bye. Half
he
the
was-
listeners don't know who that is.
No, yeah, look him up.
Marilyn Manson
Or
is like
don't look him
everybody
up.
knows.
Nobody knows who that is.
Don't look him
Marilyn
up. Anyway,
Manson's Marilyn
Don't
Manson.
look him up.
no, because he got into some really weird music.
He's
and
always been weird.
He's always been very.
a freak.
But like, it blew me away. I was like, "What is this music?" And it was sort of like
He's scary looking.
grunge.
Yeah.
I can't explain the type of music. It was like it had keyboards, synthesizers, and it was like 9 Inch Nails. Remember that group, 9 Inch Nails?
He's scary
His
looking.
Yeah,
vibe
he's
is scary.
He is very scary.
Yeah, he wasn't like that, like the way that, like that's his image now. But back then, he was just some
Some kid.
Some guy.
skinny guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he didn't have an image yet back
Yeah,
then.
I see.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I got to see Marilyn Manson before he was Marilyn Manson.
That's cool. That's pretty cool.
This
You
is
know
what
I
I'm
don't know who it
talking
is.
about. Father always has like the craziest dad lore.
Yeah. Dude, dad lore, I live for that.
I live for
it.
dad lore.
So lit.
Well, and that's why, like, when you girls were young, I didn't want to live vicariously through you guys. Like, I said, I hope they're into music. I'm going to teach them music. I'm going to try to teach them to sing. I'm going to try
Right.
to just give them some a little bit. But I didn't want to, like, force you.
Right.
I didn't like, you're going to sing or you're
Yeah.
going to play guitar. or
I
you're
did
gonna-"
not feel forced at all. I think
No,
I
me neither.
genuinely liked it.
But I think,
And I still do.
I think what helped you, too, is that you sang in those little... Remember we were doing the songs for Santiana?
Yes. Shout out Santiana.
Shout out Mario Castro. He was the one that gave us the opportunity
Dude,
to do
shout
this.
out anybody who can sing.
Yeah.
Dude, shout out anyone who has ever sang ever.
Well,
That's the vibe.
Gabrielle.
Gabrielle.
They gave us
Name drop.
yeah, Santiana. I got contracted by Santiana to write music, kids music,
Yes.
like nursery rhymes and stuff like that. And I had a friend, Julian, who passed away, Julian Navarro, who is an incredible producer who's produced for Julio Iglesias, Jose, Rocio
Oh my God.
I
Durcal,
love Jose.
Pimpinelas. I mean, this guy is a musical genius. And I just
awesome.
happened to become friends with him. I'll leave that outside. But anyway, he wrote the music. Mario Castro contracted us to do kids' songs, and I needed kids to do vocals. So I would force Gabby to sing doing these kids' songs, and we did.
Dude, I remember that.
I remember that.
I
We
always,
did.
well, I keep forgetting that I used to do that. Because I
did-
remember
you
you
did-
would pay me per song.
I would pay you per
and I
song.
did so many songs.
You did over 500.
No, I did not.
Yes,
There's
you did.
no way. I also remember doing
There
voices.
is.
So for the people that don't know what Santiana is a company that does like Spanish and English like books
They
to
publish,
learn.
yeah.
They publish like videos. It's just like a company to help learn Spanish or learn English. I think they also do French too. No.
Well, no, it's a publishing company out of Spain, and they do educational, and they publish any kind of. But it was mostly educational. The American side,
yes,
was to publish books for schools,
yes,
all over the country, and they had
songs and
songs
videos.
in English and Spanish, didn't they?
Yes, because I remember doing English songs and I remember doing Spanish songs, and I remember because my school would use Santillana the books.
Yeah.
Obviously, I can't hear my voice off of a book, but I remember our teachers would play some Spanish songs, or we'll hear like conversations in Spanish.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing my mom's voice.
Oh, really? In one of the audios?
Class, yes. I was like, that's my mom's voice. And I remember she was a jaguar character in some kind of story or book, or like, I remember, and I'm like, oh my God, that's my mom. I was like, that's crazy. Like to hear like your mom, because I remember she used to also do some of like the voiceovers.
I remember that. Did I ever do any? I think I only did.
Yeah, you did. You did some too.
I remember doing a few.
I used my girls for that, so I'm sorry if it was too much trauma.
No, it's good. I think it's good. It also, I guess, helped me with my Spanish too, because I was speaking in Spanish and singing in Spanish.
It was, but remember, like, the diction had to be right.
Really
the Spanish, because Mario was very critical on that. You have to sound neutral when you speak the Spanish. When you speak the English, it's got to just be neutral English. That was difficult for you girls.
Yeah.
Especially the Spanish part, because we're learning Spanish in Miami. But I think that's where you develop, both of you somehow have pitch perfect vocal. When my girls sing, they're pitch perfect. I'm like, what?
Stop.
I'm serious. Like, where did that come from? Because I'm not pitch perfect. I had to learn to be pitch perfect.
I am not pitch perfect,
you
bro.
are, dude.
No, I'm
Both
not.
of you.
I do not think I am.
When you guys do harmonies together, I'm like blown away. And I'm not just saying that because you're my daughters, but like where, how is that possible? Not many people can be that perfect on their pitch.
I don't know.
Thank you.
I feel like it's genetic, right? Because I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know if like vocal ability is a genetic thing.
I feel like it has to be, or
it could just be that the training, Julian trained you girls to sing in pitch, I don't know.
Yeah.
It might have been. I
don't know. I wasn't trained though.
You were not.
So any way.
But I think it was because of maybe listening to Gabby
singing. I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, I also just think that listening to music, like you're bound to learn how to sing in the same pitch as the songs that you're listening to.
Well, but we can't say that because, like, if we take your mom.
I know, but I actually found out there is only 1% of the world that is actually tone deaf.
My mom's the 1%.
I don't know if she's completely tone deaf though. But
1%?
mom,
I think it'd be bigger than that.
well, mom, I don't know if mom is completely tone deaf though, because
we did the exercise. Remember, Alex?
No. The other day you were at home, or not at home. Sorry, you were at work, and my dad and I were at home. My dad went on the piano. And I was like, you have to teach her, like, do, re, mi, like, that kind of thing.
Did she not?
Before teaching her a song, like, you have to go literally back to the basics.
You do.
And my dad did that. Dude, she sounded terrible. Like, no shade, Mom. She sounded so bad. She could not sing. She could not sing do. She could not do it.
No way.
She could do it. And I'm like, okay, concentrate.
But there's some songs that she sings that she is like in pitch, so that's why I'm confused.
I don't know. I think she.
Well, I don't know maybe it's just repetition, but like I think eventually she'll nail the note. Because so the whole thing started with we karaoke. You guys know that.
Yeah.
We love to karaoke with the neighbors, with people.
We're a karaoke family.
We're a karaoke. If you guys ever want to karaoke with us, you can welcome to come over.
We should karaoke on the podcast.
We should do a karaoke thing.
Live. We're going to go on live.
And so your mom and I are like, we got to do a duet. Let's find a duet we can do together.
Right.
And we picked a few songs, and some parts she hits perfect, some parts she doesn't. And so that was where the piano thing came out. Okay, you know what? Let's see. Can I teach your mom how to sing? That was the whole thing. And then Alex said, why don't you start with the scale? I said, that makes sense. So we go to the piano.
Dude,
and I'm like,
crazy
okay,
boots.
She's not doing this. How do I don't know how to, I'm not a vocal coach,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there's just no saving her.
I genuinely think that she cannot be saved other than by an extreme professional.
Maybe there's a way.
We can't teach her.
She needs to have like her vocal cords checked out.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I don't know.
You know what? I think your mom, I seriously think with the tone, because your mom has a very high pitched tone.
Yeah.
Seriously. And naturally, if she were to just be on pitch and a good vocal coach, she could sing, dude. Yeah. Because she's got that naturally high voice. So she's got. Yeah.
I feel like
she could be a soprano. She can be.
She's definitely a soprano, and I also think that she's loud, so she could probably belt. Like you know what I mean?
For sure.
She knows how to project. She knows how to project, but she also knows how to project because she's done theater.
Yes, yeah, maybe that's where it is. But she's got like you can tell there's power in her voice when she naturally speaks.
Yes.
And I think that is where you got your
I think so too.
Power. You got the pitch perfect, I mean, through training, and I trained you how to sing. And then all the studio work you did got you perfectly in pitch. Alex, I think you gravitated to that because sister, I don't know where. Because I never trained you.
I think I love music, and I just listen to music.
But
and
I never trained you how to sing, and by the way, so that everyone knows, she always felt like she can't sing, and literally she can.
She literally
can. A week ago, we were karaokeing, having fun, and she sang this song all by herself.
Was it the Olivia Rodrigo one?
Oh yeah,
she sang it so good.
God.
I love Olivia.
She sang it
Rodrigo.
good. Get it? Good for you.
Oh, mind you, she does, all her songs are difficult to sing, right? But you nailed it. And I was like, where did that come from?
Thank you.
Because like you're not vocal practicing, you know?
I mean, that song, I literally listened to it over and over again in the car.
You got the vibrato down. You got the timing down. You got the pitch down. It was pitch perfect.
I think I did what you did. Like I pulled a U where you try to replicate the voice of Luis Miguel. And I do that with every song that I like,
same thing.
that I want to sing. I just listen to it and I replicate my voice with the artist's voice. That's literally all I do.
Yeah.
There's a good note. I mean, seriously, that's where it starts.
Yeah, of course. I mean, how else are you supposed to learn to sing?
Right. Well, I mean, if you're on pitch and you can do that and just try to mimic that voice. And my OCD was, okay, I'm going to mimic it, but then I'm going to see, when does he breathe? When does he do vibrato?
Oh, yeah.
When does he...
You studied his technique.
I studied.
Yeah.
But it was like
But you sound like exactly like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
it's crazy how well you can replicate his voice. I don't understand.
Yeah, and I think it's my little OCD thing. The obsession with it was sort of like a challenge, and I want to challenge myself. I want to sing exactly like him. And that when that took off, that's why I became a wedding singer. People are like, "Oh crap!" And so they would come up and say, "Okay, people don't believe you. Can we just take the music away? Can you sing a cappella?" I'm
Girl,
like, "Are you serious?"
That's crazy.
I'd have to sing a cappella at times, so people didn't believe it that I was doing playback.
That's funny. Hell no. That's really funny.
My earring fell off.
But your earring fell off. Edit.
Bro said edit. I'm like trying my best to like keep this camera.
Okay, we've been filming for a while. So let's start wrapping it up.
Let's wrap it up. So
should we talk about, well, I guess maybe going back to concerts. We can talk about maybe ELO? No?
Do you want to debrief the ELO concert? What do you think? Because we're like big ELO fans.
Yeah, I like ELO.
I say it's more me and you, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
So ELO is Electric Light Orchestra, the band. We saw them in October.
Wait, if you don't know what they sing, I always tell people, because they're like, I don't know who that is. I'm like, they sing Mr. Blue Sky.
Exactly.
So that's
an iconic song.
They sing that, okay? Because nobody of my time knows who ELO is. Like, whatever.
So Jeff Lynne, the singer of the band, songwriter, he's a huge Beatles fan, and he's always wanted to be a Beatle. And the Beatles, the guy, Paul McCartney said, had the Beatles stuck together, we would have sounded like ELO. Remember that conversation, that interview. And, excuse me. And so when you listen to the music of ELO, you hear a lot of Beatles influence.
A little, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
With the harmonies.
But I never got into ELO. I remember them back in the early days in the 70s, but they were big, but probably, I think he's bigger now for some reason.
Yeah.
His music has really transcended. And so I don't know at what point I got into ELO, and I think it just might be because if you listen to his music, and I would say, guys, look up ELO. If you're a musician, you're going to appreciate the songwriting, the sounds, because he uses all kinds of synthesizers and stuff. And I got the girls into it because we would. I got the DVD. We would watch it all the time, and you guys got sort of like, wow, he's really a good musician. You know, his songs are really good, and he's 70 something now. You know, and so we thought, well, we'll never see him in concert. You know, because he wasn't touring anymore. And then I'm a fan to his webpage, and then I get an email saying he's doing a small tour, and it's only like a 2-month tour, and he just happens to be coming to Dallas. So we're like, we gotta go see him.
Yeah.
So that might have just been the last concert for.
Mind you, like, we were anticipating a tour for so long. Like, we were saying, if he goes to London, we're going to just see him. Like, we were waiting for so long, for years. I'd say, like, at least 4 years ago when I got into ELO. And that was the exact same time that you were like, I'm also, like, listening to their stuff. And I'm like, that's so strange and weird that we, like, did it at the same time. I don't know, so weird. So we would, like, play it in the car or whatever. And ever since then, we were waiting for a tour, and it finally happened, and then we went.
It was amazing, guys. I mean, the sound, and there was somebody that wrote an article saying, if you really want to hear today musicianship, sound quality, like a record exactly, go see ELO.
Right.
They pointed out ELO. The reproduction, the lighting, you guys saw it was insane.
It was so fun.
The AI question mark?
They had like AI images on there. I don't understand why.
Oh, yeah.
It was really confusing.
Yeah, but they've always been sort of, because that's their whole vibe is like technology, space. So they've got a spaceship, you know.
The spaceship.
Their music literally makes you want to levitate sometimes, especially like telephone line. Like that song, I'm like, I'm floating, bro.
Dude, they were really
the
good.
lasers. I mean,
the lasers, bro.
It was like a show, like a light show, kind of.
It literally was a light. It was like an electric light
orchestra
show.
Right.
And there were cellos
their name
and
is like
violins.
so perfect. Their name is perfect.
I love the name ELO. I think that's so lit. Sick.
Yeah.
Shout out
Jeff Lynne.
Shout out to Jeff Lynne.
Right.
Do it again, man. Go back on tour next year or this year.
The thing is, like, he was like so old that girl, bye. He's not going to be here next year.
No.
Oh man.
No, he's giving Frankie Valli that animatronic.
Yeah, you see him walking onto the stage. I'm like,
he's
turning
tiny.
She's turning.
He's like
into
a
dust.
small man, and he's like slowly withering away. But I think he'll be fine.
well, I mean, he still can sing though.
He can.
He was croaking.
There was a couple of songs he didn't hit a pitch, but I mean, some of his stuff is pretty hard to sing.
Yeah,
he's human, bro.
Dude, that was back in the
human.
70s, early 70s, where these songs were popular. But
people there were lit.
And it's the same group from the DVD that we bought many years ago. It's the same crowd, you know, musicians, in other words. But if he can come out one more year, man, and if he does London, we're going, dude.
We're going.
We're going.
That
Wembley,
would be so iconic.
Wembley Stadium. That would be like they would go all out with the lights.
Yeah.
You know, monster show, big, you know, LED walls of TV, you know. Oh, that would be crazy.
Iconic.
Iconic.
Cool.
So
all right.
That's it.
That's pretty much it. That's the lore.
That's the lore. But I will say I love this new generation of music. I'm blown away. Like the stuff that's coming out, the stuff that you guys show me.
Yeah.
That I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And that's why I challenge you, like, learn the guitar, like, do a performance or play that song. Or I'm excited. I like today's music. I really do. Yeah. I mean, there's
Chaperone.
Chaperone. dude.
Super cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And a lot of other artists you guys have presented to me, even the Paramore, the Killers,
The Paramore.
that kind of stuff is
Panic
pretty
at
incredible.
the Disco. You like Panic?
Panic at the Disco.
They're kind of irrelevant now, but
Brendan Urie?
Yeah. You
Well,
okay?
Well, we saw him in concert.
We
Thank you
did.
for taking me.
Yeah, his
And
concert
he did.
was lit.
And he did Billy Joe Moving Out.
He did.
That was like 5 years ago, guys. Like
That was at
That
5
was
years.
not
No,
5
that
years
was
ago.
not 5 years
Sister,
ago.
that was like 2016, 2017.
Yeah,
that was like
that was in Fort Lauderdale.
I was
9 years
I
ago?
was in 9th or 10th grade.
that was the first concert I ever went to.
That's the first concert
I'm
I've
just
ever
saying
went to
because like
also.
he's not he's
He's
canceled.
crazy.
Like we don't mess with him. We don't like Brendan Urie,
I
but we
do.
Why
like
not?
He's not a really. He's not
He's not
a very-
relevant anymore.
He's not relevant anymore.
For a good
He's
reason.
ruining his voice
Well, how is he ruining his voice?
because he refuses to have vocal lessons.
Okay, there's a lot of
Mm.
like allegations against him,
and he
too.
also has a lot of allegations.
That's what I'm
against him.
saying, guys. Separate the artist from their music. We just like his music. We don't like him. Okay.
Well, he's an incredible
His-
singer.
yeah.
Dude, I
He's
will
an
never.
incredible
Yeah,
singer.
and I honestly will never stop loving that band. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Same. I'm sorry.
I can't. It's like once, whatever would like the attachment that like you're the first band that you ever got into
Yeah. The attachment
is
you have
like
to that.
insane.
Yeah.
He's got like a circus vibe to his
Yes.
music.
Dude.
His first album does. It's very like burlesque.
Yeah, who comes up with that? That's crazy.
So different.
That's so unique.
So different.
That's cool.
was
I
also-
like stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
He's very good.
Okay. Well, that's all
Alright.
right. Yeah. We spoke a lot. Sorry.
It was all me.
This is
I'm
a
sorry.
long
I took over the
episode.
pod.
No.
No, that's good. That's the
good.
point. Like for a guest to talk.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you guys for
Of
having me
course.
on.
Of course, Father.
I love this show. By the way, what's episode what?
This is episode 36.
yeah.
Episode 36, dude. Come on. That's crazy. Thank you, Blabbermouth Nation, for Blabber Nation for keeping this podcast going. And I hope there's another 60 more, 80 more, whatever. Just keep it going. You know, I
yeah.
like it because it's fun. I watch every single episode.
He's our biggest fan.
I'm the well.
So is
not
my
only
mom.
not only that, but
Mommy
it's
too.
entertaining. It really, girls. I'm serious. It's so entertaining.
Thank you.
When
hope it
when
is.
we get the announcement that you guys posted. Your mom and I are like, okay, let me watch it first, and then you watch it, because we watch it on our separate phone. And so I'll put my headphones on. She'll put her headphones. We'll watch it at the same time. It's very entertaining.
Oh, yay, I'm so glad.
I love the topics, and then I'm learning more about this generation because
That's true.
and all the lore that you guys use, the terminology.
The terminology that we, like lore.
Low key, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Loki
There
is
you
pretty
go.
chill.
It's pretty chill. There you go.
pretty
That's the
lit.
word. It's pretty lit.
Yeah.
Right,
Right.
It's very entertaining. I hope there's more subscribers and tune in. There's more stuff to come. What's coming up? What's on the agenda? What's for the next?
We've got more stuff that we're going to talk about. We wanted
Yeah.
to talk about our trip and things like that.
Talk about the trip.
Yeah, we're going to talk about our trip. But
was
I don't know
cool.
which video is going to come out first. The one where we talk about our trip or this one. So,
Probably this one.
So
Okay.
we'll keep you guys updated.
We'll keep you guys updated. Thank you for having me.
Of
right.
course. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Father.
God.
Yay.
All right.
Best daughters ever. And I'm not just saying that because my daughters.
Okay. Shall we get up close like this?
Okay.
And so you know how the outro
I
goes.
know the outro
You know the outro. He's watched every single episode.
Thank you
All right.
guys so much for watching.
Subscribe, follow us on
Yeah.
all our socials, subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on Spotify. Thank you guys for watching. Bye!